Yo, what's going on, guys? What a beautiful day in the markets, huh? Let's take a look at NNdM. So, I went long. I put a long position in right around $7. I ended up averaging up around $8 here. Um, but I just knew that we were getting damn close to the bottom. Looking at the was it the daily or the weekly RSI? Well, if you look at the daily RSI, we got a beautiful bounce off this lower trend line here. On the weekly, I had drawn a trend line in, which looks like it's disappeared at this point, unless it was on the daily. Oh, it might have been the daily. I had drawn a trend line in right here, just kind of half-ass trend line right here based off of these two wicks on the daily. And you can see that we wicked a little bit below, but that was roughly the area that we like to bounce in, was on this green trend line. And when I noticed we were here, I was like, all right, this has to be the fucking bottom at this point. And it seems like so far we got a beautiful, beautiful bounce off of there. You can see we're getting a daily death cross here tomorrow, but for the most part, with all these stocks that have been getting these daily death crosses in, we've actually been getting a lot of pump action here. So that's pretty cool to see. And then you can see this falling wedge that we were in. We got a nice breakout with some beautiful volume, a great reversal candle right here. And, this is a great sign. So, let's see where we're actually potentially heading here as far as the breakout of this falling wedge, to see the targeted move we could be looking at here over the next few weeks or so, maybe even the way it's moving, maybe even days. So my targeted move here is $13.11, which is that's pretty solid move there. And then it could have a couple corrections in between, of course, right? But I think overall, ultimately, it's heading to that area. Let's throw on where we're going to catch some support and resistance at on the way up. So, obviously we have this combination of the daily 20 EMA, the 50 EMA, and then the purple line of the Ichimoku cloud, which all pretty much lines up right between 1178 and 1212. And then your green Ichimoku cloud above is at 1363. And then where we're catching resistance roughly right now, well, actually, we seem like we got above it, which is really good to see, 928. That should be some pretty good support there. And the first resistance we're going to hit is going to be this 1080, which I think I talked about in the past was a good place to go long. But obviously at the time that was, up in this range, assuming if we were going to break out or anything up here, we would have gone, or I don't know where it was. Either way, I mean, things change, so charts have changed, and this is where we're at now. So you can see on the 4-hourly here, we were getting resistance, and we did get a 4-hour close right below 945 there, and that's the EMA on the 4-hour. And above resistance, we have 1049 roughly. So, we're going to catch, obviously, resistance on all of these trend lines here on the way up, but we're getting a very nice rounding bottom here. So we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out. Hopefully, the market's going to continue to keep up here, and of course, we can have pullbacks and whatnot, or flag out, or create falling channels and whatnot, but falling wedges and shit. But for now, this looks like a nice, clean run. Let's see where we're at right now in the hourly. So if you look at the Ichimoku cloud here, pretty much once we broke through this cloud here that we caught resistance on for a little bit, once we broke through here, we pretty much had a pretty good shot. This was from 944 roughly, and then we closed out, or 914. As soon as we closed out right here, we've pretty much ran up to 976 ever since. Would that seem like that was the high there? So it looks like on the hourly here, 2 hours or so from now, depending on if we just open up and shoot right up to 992, or if we wait an hour and shoot up here, we're going to catch some resistance between 974 and 990. Let's look at the RSI real quick and see what we got going here. So on the RSI, we're starting to get up into some strength, which is nice to see. Don't know if we have any I mean, potentially we have some bearish divergence forming, but that can easily get canceled out. Actually, I don't even know if we have bearish divergence yet. No, we don't, because we right up here, straight across from there. Yeah, so no bearish divergence yet, and this looks like it's creating a nice, some very, very nice bounce. So let's see how we do. We're kind of getting back into this old rising channel here that we fell out of prior. And I'm pretty sure on the daily, we still have some ways to go. But you can kind of see in the past here how we've gotten a nice spike off a bounce, and then we come back down for a double bottom, and then we shoot up. Or we can come down for a spike, come up, come back down, and then shoot one more time. So we'll have to see how this works out here, because this could come up to a certain point, 1080, maybe come back down for a nice little W there. But for the most part, I mean, it's pretty clear to me that we're heading up here. So, I don't have too much analysis to say off of here. I think we're just kind of heading up. Obviously, there's going to be pullbacks, and, we can catch some support back down at this $9 range if we have to. But I have a feeling we're going to run up a little bit higher. And then we did get a TD9 flash, though, there on the 45-minute. And, we still have a lot more room. We could potentially come up here, but sometimes this gets into the little bit oversold area, so it could come down here, boom, or overbought area. Could come down here on this RSI and then keep heading up. But, I mean, I don't think it's going to be that big of a drop, personally. I mean, if it did, maybe this $9 range, $8.90, something like that, maybe. And even with that small correction, that's still going to be pretty good. But let's see if this... Let me see if I can catch any indicators here. If we don't just head right up, looks like right now we're catching resistance underneath the 200 EMA there on the 45-minute. And we don't have to drop just because of this TD9 flash either. If it wants to continue getting more and more bullish and the buyers keep coming in, we can push it up higher, obviously. But eventually we'll have to have a little small correction. But if we did, say we pushed up in the morning, and we made our way up here to like almost $10, we could have a small drop out of this rising channel here and come back down to this 930. If we did have a correction in the morning, then we could drop back down to about 901. So, and then see where we go from there. But, small pullbacks is always a good thing. Who knows, maybe this will create like a little left shoulder ahead, and then we'll create a little right shoulder there and continue on our way. But yeah, this is looking great. I mean, I'm up pretty decent amount on this, and a couple other things that I bought that we went over in one of my videos about a few picks that I was looking into, and pretty much everything did really, really well today. So we'll have to see. I mean, eventually it's going to have a small little correction, like I said, but nothing can really go straight up like that. But we have some good support lines here. If we came back down, tested this, is at 840, or we just stayed around here. I'm really liking this 887, but let me just look at the quick fib retracement here and see where we're at. And let me check on the weekly, because it'll be a little better to take a fib retracement off of this weekly and see what we got. So fib retracement, swing low. Whoops, a little too high. To the swing high right there. Boom. So once we caught support on this 914, let's take a look here. So it looks like we caught support at the 0.618 actually, which is right around 709. We did wick a little bit below it here, 641, and then we did eventually buy back up above. And the 0.5 fib is at 914, which obviously we bounced higher than that. But that could be a good level of support right there. You can see in the past here we did kind of like have a lot of trading in this area. So this is going to be pretty decent support and resistance areas here to keep an eye out for. and above, like the 0.382 is at 11.19. So, I mean, depending on how this works out, we could even have a nice run up into that range there, with, you know, a few ups and downs here. But I really like the volume, and I'm loving this candle right here. So I think the market's going to be doing pretty well here for the next few days, even with some minor red days. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But for the most part, this thing's just kind of heading up, and, you know, hopefully it'll just kind of, we don't want it to go up too fast because obviously that can end badly. But if we have a little pullback here, maybe come back up, you know, kind of doing the same type of action here. Boom, up, boom, up. You know what I mean? That would be perfectly fine with a little bit of consolidation in between. But, you know, so this is kind of where I'm looking at here. I mean, there's not too much to say. We're having a nice bounce in the overall market, and these are just kind of, we're just going to be along for the ride here as it makes its way back up, hopefully, potentially, eventually, back up in this range here again. This would be amazing. Obviously, that's not going to happen in one day. There's definitely going to be ups and downs, whether we come all the way up to 11, come back down, catch more support again back on the 0.5, and then head up and double bottom. That would be very, very nice, but no way to say right now. I just, the market looks decently strong, and I don't think this time it's a fake out, but we'll have to see. So yeah, just keep your eye on this thing because you know, if you're not in it, you know, I don't really like to go and buy on these green days when it's up 20-25%. Wait for a nice pullback here, $9, 889, 894, something like that. 914 looks like the good strong level there. That's probably a good level to pick some more up at. And we'll see how this goes, but it looks like ultimately it's heading up to the $13 range. That's my target. So, you know, just stand tight, and I hope everyone's having a good day. Hit the like button. Peace.